Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here, and I'm gonna read spoilers until this storm knocks out my power, or until WotC's bad card design gives me a stroke. Both are equally likely at this point. Let's start with Alloy Animist. It's a 1-cost green 1/1 creature human druid. You pay 3 until end of turn. Target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 4/4 artifact creature. That's right, Ensoul artifact that wears off. AKA the correct way to do that. So you can do that at instant speed, and it's a 1-drop, and it's a human, and it's a druid. That's a pretty good card. Next up, Steel Seraph. Ooh, that's cool. It's a 6-cost 5/4 artifact creature angel with flying, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains your choice. Ooh, this is good. Of flying, vigilance, or lifelink until end of turn. Yes! And then you can get the junior bacon cheese version of it for a mere 2 white plus 1 generic, and it's all of that stuff, but it's a 3/3, which is still really, really, really good. And this is an Angel, which Angel Tribal's kind of dead right now, but I don't think this will, revive it. But boy, this just looks like a fun, fair, balanced, interesting card, I gotta say. Too bad the rest of the set don't match it, and it's not going to do good things to standard, but I'm going to call a good card when I see it. Next up, oh good, a colorless mythic construct. This gonna be good. Alright, 4/6 for 5, artifact creature construct mythic. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more other creatures, draw a card. Oh my gosh, they're giving unlimited card draw to everybody, at least it costs 5, but then again, Power Stones. Just absolutely ensuring that this new set dominates standard. Which it could use a shakeup right now, but Giant Mechs I can blow up with a 2-cost spell. Not really what I was looking for. By the way, somebody pointed out that blue is the strongest colorless, or like large robot deck, or robot archetype that you could play, maybe splash another color, but just generally blue is the most powerful right now, which, yeah, Artificers make sense. But you can prototype stuff for cheaper, and then use a 2-cost flicker that brings it back into play, and it will not return as its prototype form, unless they make some kind of ruling. That's not how the rules work as it sits. And that flicker card is instant speed, so you can use it as a counterspell. You can take somebody's, aura-stacked creature and flicker it. Yeah, you can use it on their creatures, and then whenever it enters the battlefield, no matter whose it was, it gets a 1/1 counter. And there's more than one effect that does that. In fact, there's a way more powerful version of it in 2-color. Yeah, yikes. I'm going to build the hell out of that deck, I'm just saying. So anyway, this does go on. If you pay 3 plus 1 white, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token, who cares, and then unearth 4 in case you didn't see enough of it already. I do not like this. Recurring free draw, at least they put a condition on it, but it's a little much in colorless. It was kind of like that Shadow Spear where they gave, Trample and Lifelink or whatever to every single color, and then that turned out to be, a really bad idea. The color pie exists for a reason. But at least this is a 5-drop, but still, people are going to play this. It's a mythic for a reason. So next up, Union of the Third Path. What the hell is the Third Path? Is it some cult? I could look any of this up, but I don't give enough of a crap. I'm just sick of hearing about it. Alright, so it's a 3-cost white instant, common, draw a card, then you gain life equal to the number of cards in your hand. Okay, it's kind of interesting, because late game it wouldn't be much of a benefit. In early game, it'll get you some time there. We haven't had a card anything like this in a while, actually. Next up, Zephyr Sentinel. It's a 2-cost blue 2/1 human soldier with flash and flying. And apparently he's doing a Teferi cosplay. But when it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature you control, oh god, to its owner's hand. Oh, and then you don't return it to play. Okay, now I don't care. I just got done saying it. We do not need another flicker. But you put a 1/1 counter on Zephyr Sentinel. So that's actually, that's not bad. Flash flying, it's basically a counter spell, and then you've got a 3/2 for 2 in the air. As long as you have a valid target, it goes off. It could be a token. That's a really good card. Next up, Gixian Puppeteer. It's a 4-cost 4/3 black Phyrexian Warlock, and whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Yeah, that's what we want to encourage, is 2 and 3 color control to draw even more cards for even less mana. And when it dies, return another target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I hate it. Next up, we got one that hasn't been translated yet. Thanks, WotC. We all think you're so diverse and woke and totally not incompetent and faking it. Look how global we are. Well, not for long if you keep making these business decisions. Hey-oh. So this translates to Great Dessert Surveyor. Just kidding, I wish. Sounds delicious, and whatever that is, I would eat it. Great Desert Surveyor. It's a 5-cost, 3/2 creature human artificer, and when it enters the battlefield, create a tapped Power Stone token for each other creature you control. Yep, 1 Power Stone per thing that would be considered vaguely a creature. That's a little much even for 5. Next up, Fauna Shaman. It's a 2-cost green 2/2 elf shaman. I do hate me some elves, but they ain't gonna win against Urza. So if you pay 1 green, tap it and discard a creature card, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Really, a free recurring tutor for 1. And all you have to do is ditch something you don't need. That is unbelievably overpowered. They might as well have just called her Titan of Industry Fetcher. Unbelievable. Well, next up we got Junkyard Genius. It's a 3-cost 2/2 human artificer, and when it enters the battlefield, create a tapped Power Stone token, and if you pay 3, including his colors, sacrifice another creature or artifact until end of turn. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain Menace and Haste. That's a pretty spicy good creature there. Next up, Deathbloom Ritualist. It's a 5-cost 3/5 elf warlock, and if you tap it, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Yeah, it costs 5. Why do you need that much mana that late? Why don't you already have it? I don't know about that. Like, it looks really good, but for 5, I don't know. Next up, Draconic Destiny. Oh, good, a red mythic aura. This will be great. So, double red, because everything in this entire set is double red. And Enchanted Creature has +1/+1 and has Flying, Haste, and pay 1 this creature. Oh, so Fire Breathing. Yep. Gets +1/+0 till end of turn. It's a dragon in addition to its other types. So, portable Fire Breathing. At least I get a 2-for-1 when I blow it up with this on it. When Enchanted Creature dies, can't even read that yet. Return Draconic Destiny to its owner's hand. I hate everything about this card. Every last little thing. Fire Breathing is overpowered. This grants it Flying and Haste, so you have less time to react. It's undercosted for what it does. And it's basically Rancor. I hate it. Next up, whatever this says in German, probably Persistent Behemoth. But yeah, it's a 5-drop 2/7 and artifact creature beast. You may play land cards from your graveyard. So in other words, Evolving Wilds. And after you use it, you don't exile it. Oops. Now, I would have thought that they learned from the last time they did that, what an utter disaster it was, but this is named after the creature. I think wasn't it Craterhoof Behemoth or something like that? It was something Behemoth. So clearly they're doing a callback, and clearly they didn't fix crap other than the fact that landfall isn't in the game anymore, but still. They done messed up. Unlimited land fetch, that's really stupid. So, it also has Unearth too. Wow, I didn't think the set would get this bad. I really don't. But, well, next up is Awaken the Woods. I've already seen this one. Somebody posted it on my Discord server. So it's 2 green plus X sorcery. Create X 1/1 green forest, dryad, land, creature, tokens. Yep, you use every bit of mana you have to basically double your mana for the rest of the game until somebody board wipes, which there aren't that many good board wipes outside of white. I mean, there's some sweepers, now I can see why, but this is pretty messed up. I mean, forget about standard. This is good in standard. Okay, great. Other formats with landfall? Holy crap. This all counts as a land entering the battlefield. You could play this for 5 total mana and just, like, win the game. You guys don't even realize how, like, roughly 3 sets worth of landfall can affect the game. This is going to be a $30 card. Hell, I'm going to look it up right now. They got it at 15 with the variant at 28. Nah, it's out of stock too, so it's not even like a real price. Especially since they priced it too low and then sold out is usually what happens. So in standard, I mean, yeah, it's fragile lands that could blow up and you have access to a ton of mana. Okay, cool. What are you going to do with it? I mean, so does my blue-green cloner. I mean, you can only bring out so many copies of stuff, but I'm probably putting at least 1 copy of this in the dang deck because, yeah, I would love that. The creature ETB, I mean, look at green-white humans with ETB life gain, and then look at this. But the real problem isn't even this card with that, it's the deck, which is already outrageous, and now it gets, you know, doubling its mana with 1,000 triggers. They need to ban Galagreeters, they really do. It's in almost every deck I own. I don't care. There's a reason, and they need to ban it, okay? I'm not one of those selfish people that says, ban everything but the decks I play, otherwise I'm going to complain on Twitter. So moving on to something so much better, we got Gruesome Realization. It's a 3-cost double black sorcery. Choose one, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, or creatures your opponents control. So in other words, forest, dryad, land creatures, get -1/-1 till end of turn. This is just like a good solid spell right here. Next up, Ambush Paratrooper. He's a little heavy to be a paratrooper, but sure. It's a 2-cost 1/2 creature, a human soldier with flash and flying, and if you pay 5 creatures you control, get +1/+1 until end of turn. So does draft filler gimmick, whatever. Okay. And next we got Transmutado Lamina. It's freaking Portuguese, not Spanish. Woo. Lamina Suite? Is that what it is? Now, I'm not necessarily saying your language sucks and it's just overcomplicated Spanish with a bunch of crap that makes no sense and inconsistent pronunciation, but that's what everybody's saying. So, Blade Whip Transmogrant? I don't know. 2 cost 3/1 artifact creature zombie. Okay, that's a thing, I guess. Blade Whip Transmo whatever the heck can't block. And then if you pay 6, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. This ability costs 4 less to activate if an opponent controls 4 or more non-basic lands. That is the most convoluted and weirdly complicated card that does such an obscure thing that doesn't match anything else in the set. You gotta wonder what went on here. So you basically bring it back for 2 mana, but bigger if they're running heavy multicolor. Okay. Next up, Take Flight. It's a 4-cost blue aura enchant creature. It gets +1/+0 and has flying. And whenever this creature attacks, draw a card. Ooh! We actually haven't had that effect for a while in the game. It's expensive, but it's interesting, especially in limited. Next up, Evangel of Synthesis. It's a 1 blue, 1 black, 2/3 Phyrexian Human Cleric. I already hate everything about that. And when it enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Great. And as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, I can't imagine how you wouldn't have, Evangel of Synthesis gets +1/+0 and has Menace. I guess you're trying to get that to go off in like the future turns. I don't know, early game whatever in a control color. I don't really see it. Usually just kind of stall. I mean, a 1/1 Death Toucher would be more useful, but if you're trying to get to like a Planeswalker to drop it in, yeah, I mean, there's better ways to pop the top of your deck, but he'll have some good early game striking, which I said, you don't need. I don't know, I'm on the fence about this one. Next up, Wasteful Harvest. It's a 3-cost green instant. Mill 5 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way in your hand. Seems like an awfully black card, but okay. Oh, Story Spotlight. Great. Once the brothers discovered the pristine island of Argoth, the war came down to who could plunder it faster. Yep, somebody should have assassinated both of them. Anyway, next up we got a 1-cost 1/1 black creature rat, and it's called Gnawing Vermin, and when it enters the battlefield, target player mills 2 cards. Yep, had to add in graveyard packing shenanigans to the set because it just wasn't unlikable enough. And when it dies, target creature you control, or don't control, the opposite of what I said, gets -1/-1 till end of turn. A self-destructing, obnoxious rat that packs your graveyard so that you can resurrect crap for too cheap. Fantastic. Just what the game needed. And lastly, we got Hero of the Dunes. Oh, you know how they name cards similar stuff and then kind of give them similar art and then give them similar costs? Without even reading this, I wonder if it'll be like that one board wipe that leaves one thing there. Oh yeah, Dune Blast, of course, from Khans of Tarkir. Choose up to 1 creature, destroy the rest. It's the functional reprint of an uncard. The cheese stands alone. Well, let's read it. Let's see. And this is a creature. That was a spell. It might be a coincidence, but okay. Whenever Hero of the Dunes enters the battlefield, return target artifact or creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Creatures you control with mana value 3 or less get +1/+0. Oh, darn, it wasn't a reprint of Dune Blast. Good, we don't need it. That would be awful. See, mana value 3 or less. That's how you limit it. That's how you make it fair. Unfortunately, that brings us down to a not very playable card, but in limited if you're already running these colors. So in other words, no, this would be pretty spicy. I mean, honestly, the +1/+0 to small stuff, cool, but it costs 5. I would have put, 1 effect on one card and the bottom effect on a different card. Well, whatever. I ain't going to complain about something being underpowered in the set. Just saying. It has enough power, and it's not like, oh, outrageous power. Oh my god, it's basically Eldraine and Ikoria again. It's just promoting 6 different archetypes that people don't like graveyard crap, overpowered stuff, hyper control with a bunch of draw engines behind it. Just awful archetypes that nobody wants to play against. And then the net deckers are sitting there drooling over it saying, I could win so many games with low effort for free while watching Netflix. Oh my gosh. That just makes, one person really excited on Twitter and go, oh, I love the set, I love the set, I love the set, while 5 people silently walk away from the game, and then WotC is sitting there like, why is our income going down? Let's sell a $1,000 set that isn't actually ready. Why is Hasbro mad at us? Why is the game being ruined? I wonder. It's almost like it's because you ruined the game. So yeah, this set is going to be a catastrophe for Standard, and they better get out the banhammer and start swinging it at everything that people in the community don't like. Because the game's already overcomplicated, confusing, and hard to track. If you add on top of that, it's not enjoyable in about 50% of the matches, because it'll be some hyper-control shutdown crap where you can't even play the damn deck that you, spent all the time building and bought all the cards for and used all the wild cards for on Arena. People are going to leave in enormous numbers, even more so than they already are. So do not underestimate my and every other analyst who knows what they're talking about when we say that this set is unbelievably worse than it looks just on the surface. If you look at the overall design and how it's going to play and what they're promoting and what's already in standard, it is a perfect storm to piss people off. Well, we got more Magic videos coming out, Magic news, the MTGO massive hack after they sold it because people they sold it to are incompetent morons. Whole bunch of videos coming out today and tomorrow. So, subscribe if you don't want to miss it, and I'll see you guys next video.